needs and wants and the services you provide. That gap is moving. It's always evolving, it's changing. And that is coming with new technology, new demographics, globalisation, it's coming with a changing climate. This beast is moving, and so if your organisation isn't moving with it, you will be missing the point and exposed to largely what is popularly known as disruption. These waves of development, this is where the change comes from. So we've gone through, I haven't, but the agricultural revolution was one that brought all kinds of new ways of developing urban areas. There was the industrial revolution that brought upon steam engine and power and automation, and now we're in what they call the fourth industrial revolution, another wave, and that is bringing a whole new skill set, mindsets, new technologies and the like. And the question is, for GHD and other businesses, and that I like to ask all the time, is who will catch the next wave? And so, as far as GHD goes, I challenge GHD quite regularly about who we're bringing into the business to help us with this revolution. I have, in my curious ways, I've got a team that's looked at the types of skills that we're looking at when we recruit into GHD. When I started asking the question, it was apparent that we weren't necessarily targeting people who had creativity and courage. That wasn't really a strong feature set in the people we were looking for. And if you don't have creativity and courage in your organisation, you're very unlikely to change. So we're looking for new ways of actually empowering people to have that creativity and courage internally. So anyone, everyone in the organisation, but then also the others that we could bring in that would spice that up, bring diversity. And I'm acutely aware that I'm not adding to the diversity of this panel. I'm another bloke, and I think really that's something we can be mindful of there, is how we can bring more diversity in, because that's all part of the mix in innovation. So who will catch the next wave? There's been a lot of research done, so this is interesting work over the last few years from the Foundation for Young Australians. The demand for enterprise skills, the 21st century skills, the digital literacy, growing rapidly, critical thinking, creativity and problem solving, all growing rapidly. And so GHD and the industries and sectors we work in and with need to find ways of stimulating this next wave of leadership. And it's all very well trying to recruit it, but I would suggest the best option, the best talent you've got is the one you're employing already. And so that's what we've done, Smart Seeds. Smart Seeds is a program born out of GHD, so we kicked it off in 2012, 2013. We call it a design-led innovation program, so it's based on the principles of design thinking. Our goal is to co-create solutions for lasting community benefit. And we can only do that if we diversify all the time. So we started off internally, realised we were a bunch of engineers, architects, managers and the like, wasn't diverse enough. We went to our client base, invited them to get involved to mix it up even more, and now we're really diversifying in the full sense. We need as many people from the creative industries as possible to be able to tackle these complex challenges in new ways. And I dare say the defence sector and industry has plenty to offer here. Defence people think differently, and so that's really good. We need that kind of mix in this program. So what we try and do as Smart Seeds, we try and build capabilities, confidence and connections. It's a capacity building element as much as anything else. We try and enable people to thrive under uncertainty, grapple with complexity and diversify at every turn. We bring new mindsets, processes and tools, so we introduce those to the participants through the program, and we're all about enabling collaboration and innovation. So quickly, I know engineers, I'm an engineer myself, environmental engineer, rivers and catchments my thing, details, that's always good, we like to get right down to that. So how does it work, what's the program about? We will be kicking off in Adelaide for the first time. We're kicking off in December with a challenge workshop. Next year, kicking off in March and April, we'll be running through the ideation phase. So how it works is, we're looking in December to start off right. The first step on your far left, trends and opportunities, engaging cross-sector people, those who are grappling with complex challenges, to come to the table over lunch, actually over breakfast, December 5th, and to define the themes that we want, the playgrounds for innovation, the complex challenges that we're facing not just in one sector but across multiple sectors. We'll define those with the executives and industry leaders, community leaders as well, and then we'll set them loose on what we call emerging leaders. So that's professionals and talent, local talent in the first, say, 7 years of their working careers. We get them together, form 6 diverse teams, 6 teams of 6 to tackle these challenges over 6 weeks. 666, it's not evil. We will run through the green elements of our design thinking framework. That's letting them do the research and find the insights where the value lies in these challenges. We'll facilitate the process to transform that into more creative elements, the ideation, and finally help them evaluate the best solution and pitch that back to industry. The idea is we bookend it. We have the industry leaders at the start defining the challenges. We have them there at the end considering these solutions. And the idea then is to find the pathways for potentially some of these ideas to be delivered collaboratively. That's essentially what the Smart Seeds program is. Starting with challenges, we had some conversations earlier this week with government. One of the challenges we're really grappling with here is how do we improve mobility and travel experience in the face of population growth and changing transport demand. We really want population growth. We know transport demand is changing. How do we tackle this problem? That's the type of complex challenge that we need diverse inputs from, and Smart Seeds will be a great playground for that here in Adelaide. Just quickly on Smart Seeds, I mentioned that it started off in 2012. It's a model that we're enjoying taking to new places. So Adelaide will be the first time we launch it very shortly. We also run it in other places around Australia, and I'm really passionate about regional innovation. So I was based in Alice Springs, really enjoyed working with Centralian Senior College there on a variant of the program, but also in other places like Townsville, northeastern Victoria. But we're also running it in 3 cities in New Zealand, over in London, and soon launching in North America. So everyone is mobilising around Smart Seeds, and we're finding a really energising way to engage and break down silos, really, between our industries and sectors. So really, it's an open innovation. I could talk at length about that, but it's an open invitation. Smartseeds.org. You've also got flyers on your tables, and that's got some my details. I'll be facilitating some of these events, but Clint Spencer is GHD's market leader, who is also championing the program, and I would like to recognise Clint. He's not here, but he's picked up something that's a bit different, and he's running with it, and he's building a movement, and I think that is something that should be recognised, because it's taking new things to market is not always easy, and I think if we can support those doing new things all the time, then we'll be all better for it. That's it from me. I appreciate your time.
Stop. 249. 249.
I was really sorry to give you the hurry up there.
Oh, all good.
So let me do this in reverse. I was going to introduce him, but I couldn't jump in the middle of the presentation. So Myles, as he said, is an environmental engineer. As I said, I'm really pleased that all of our speakers have come from different states today. Only one from Adelaide, that was our first Jim. Myles grew up in Melbourne, which is where he currently works with GHD. As an environmental engineer, he's done a lot of work in rivers and catchments. Smart Seeds is an organisation design program designed and managed by Myles. And Smart Seeds is an innovation program for professionals from diverse STEM and other backgrounds, multidisciplinary in all senses in that sense, right? With a focus on infrastructure design. So while it has a broader focus than just defence and the defence industry, GHD uses the program to develop new skills and new networks to take into the defence industry. So Myles' work is focused at organisation design, including people's needs and wants. He's married with a 4-month-old baby, so a little girl called Vivian, and he and his wife love tennis as a couple, And Myles still plays a bit of footy, although he says the little baby's probably going to have something to say about that for this next season, right? He's passionate about the environment. He's the VP of the River Basin Management Society and chair of the Australian Stream Management Conference. So thank you very much, Myles, and Damian, thank you very much as well. We've got about 10 minutes, so questions from anybody? Unfortunately, Jim's had to go, but if we don't have any questions, then what we can do is we can just approach the guys over a cup of tea or coffee and have a chat with them or our next speaker. But I do have one question. So with regard to the organisation design program, Smart Seeds, what prompted, where did the drive come from? Was it from below, from above, a happy marriage in between? What?
This is a great question. It's a grassroots movement.
Do you want to come up so people can hear you?
I tend to be honest. So it's a grassroots movement that started in 2012. A colleague of mine, Claire Dixon, also working in the innovation team within GHD, identified the need to build new capabilities and new skill sets within GHD, really to create better solutions and better services. We thought the most impressionable and hopeful people to do that with would be the ones that are fresh out of university, fresh in their careers, and determined to have their ideas heard. So we worked with them. What's happened is it's caught fire as a grassroots movement, and it started to get attention up through GHD and our partner networks, and it's reached kind of the executive level. And that's where we find new challenges arising about how do we invest in these kinds of programs, what's the value proposition, what's it all about, and so we have to go through it again. But essentially that's where it's come from, and now it's surviving and thriving with that kind of senior buy-in as well.
How's the senior management taken to that, I suppose, the reverse mentoring opportunities there were both sides of the equation can go?
Just through experience, really positive. So key elements of the program, you're right, is this mentoring element. So each team will have an entrepreneurial and an industry mentor paired. That two-way exchange is incredible. I would arguably say that the more senior people involved in the program walk away with as much or more energy, because it is a different way of working, and it is quite inspiring to have those relationships and those connections. So I'd say that's really positive. The other thing I probably failed to mention is that we're trying to be really open with the program, and we see small, medium enterprise as well as established large public and private industries being able to get involved here, and we're really determined to find ways to get everyone involved. So if you're a large business, you've probably already got a graduate program, emerging leaders program. This is something you can add to the mix and integrate in. If you're a smaller business, you probably don't have those kind of overheads. This is actually a really lightweight, low barrier to entry way of getting involved as well. So and we need that. We're determined to have this program represented the diverse ecosystem we need for innovation anyway. So that's something to believe there.
Are there any examples of some of the initiatives that have come out of previous iterations of the program?
Yes, there are. So my favourite is out of Newcastle. So we've run the program in Newcastle a couple of times. Newcastle, it's a port town, and it's got two faces. It's got the gentrified kind of emerging arts and vibrant scene, and it's got the port side, very industrial. And the challenge put together, I think, with University of Newcastle and the City Council was how to transform that industrial outlook to tie in better and lift the entire city. So have that as a feature rather than an eyesore. The team came up with the idea of moving murals. So you might have seen in other cities around the world where you've got your trains or trams or even wheat silos becoming art installations. The tugboats of Newcastle were the target of this crew. So they came up with a novel initiative to crowdsource and vote on and get those tugs as part of this kind of moving mural installation. That caught fire. I mean, it's an easy idea to communicate, and so it was easily picked up kind of in the media and by a few of the local politicians that were inspired by the idea. I haven't seen any painted tugs yet though.
I was going to ask another question on how such a freewheeling program is accepted in a defence environment. I mean, you've got the momentum that Jim was talking about of working with defence and the history and the regimentation. How does this work there?
So reflecting on what on Jim's talk is that a lot of things that Jim's business values is culture and people, and I would suggest that that's where you start. And this program is a really great way of opening up and focusing most closely on your clients and customer needs, and then empowering the people to be able to solve problems and work across different sectors with different people and different organisations. So while the culture within the sector and the requirements within defence may be very, very unique, it's actually the skill sets and the ways of working across different sectors are actually greatly applicable. And I think that transfer of knowledge and skill and relationships and ways of working, the cross-pollination is actually, that's the power of the program.
Damian, did you have anything to add?
Yeah, it's funny. It's
Why don't you come join us up here? It's crowded.
It's actually quite ironic. It was 2 months ago we actually presented this to Defence, very similar to what you just heard. We're actually now talking to Defence to implement a Smart Seas program. So for them, for their public servants in particular, for their grad program, those young grads that are just starting out now, they're the future leaders of the public service within Defence and even broader throughout the whole public service for the federal government. So we are now looking at how we're going to shape and construct that, and it's got massive support. So that's unfolding now as we speak.
So you're really moving from infrastructure design to organisation design, aren't you?
Yeah, we're happy to have a go at anything.
Any more questions? Well, I'm sure these gentlemen would be happy to talk to you over a cup of tea before our next meeting. So I'd like you to put your hands together once again and thank them very much. Good afternoon tea down the way.
I worked for Naval for 2 years. CEO of the UK before I left.
Yeah, we're pretty open. So the students, we run different programs for school students. The program will be launched in Adelaide, so it's kind of didn't work out. So those that go off and found opportunities. Having said that, I think there's opportunity to bring in those who are also seeking opportunities. So there's a lot of people who
I've got interns through the Common Scholarships Program in South Australia, and so they will be